Welcome to TouchPoints TV. I'm Debbie House, Editor-in-Chief of Retail TouchPoints, and I'm here with Adam Silverman, who's a Principal Analyst for Forrester Research. Welcome, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for having me.
So we're here at the Shop.org event, day number 2, wrapping up the show. How has it been for you so far?
It's been great. It's been a great show. Lots of great new technologies and solutions for retailers, and I think there's also a common thread of retailers expressing some of their challenges and looking for solutions. So it's a great place to come here and meet with your peers and learn from each other and be able to take that information back to your organization and champion some new initiatives.
It's good to get out of the office sometimes. So you are an analyst with Forrester Research,
Correct.
But you have a pretty extensive background as a retail executive as well, and I thought maybe you could fill us in a little bit on your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm fairly new to Forrester, but my background is mainly running e-commerce and marketing teams for both mid and large size retailers. So I've worked for pure plays like Guitar Center, and Musician's Friend. I've worked for Wet Seal, which is a multi-channel retailer. And so my experience is diverse from both, again, that e-commerce, running the operations of the e-commerce systems to the marketing teams, driving both acquisition and retention-based marketing programs.
All right, terrific. So I want to talk a little bit today about challenges with product information management and product selection and that type of thing. Maybe you can fill us in a little bit on just, kind of a high-level overview on, what you see as the benefits of a good product selection.
Yep. Well, selection is key. That's a huge advantage that retailers have in terms of their e-commerce business. Offering greater selection drives greater acquisition, provides greater selection for your existing customers. And the retail store is just not really in a position to onboard new products. They're constrained by a physical space. And so traditionally the e-commerce group has onboarded those third-party vendors, and they've been the ones who have been responsible for growing product assortment online. But as we move into this omnichannel world, it's not just about online, it's about the overall experience. And so we're finding that a lot of retailers are having pain points when it comes to both onboarding and managing those third-party vendors and additional supply of inventory, but then also what does that mean from an omnichannel perspective? How do they enable that product within the retail store?
So what advice do you have for retailers who are facing some of those challenges? Where do they start? What are some of the key questions that they should be asking?
Yeah, well, so certainly, finding the vendors and the product is a big deal. But let's say that they already have that dialed in and they know who their main suppliers are. The main pain points are really onboarding of that information. So working with a system, a PIM system that can help you digest the input from those suppliers and be able to manage that operation of product expansion is key. But then there's also the issue of attributes, right? So imagine all these different suppliers providing color information in different ways. It's blue or turquoise, and trying to normalize that information is critical to enabling your e-commerce site to function correctly. And so having the capabilities to take that data and to massage it and make it usable and normalize it is a critical function that a PIM solution often helps retailers with.
So what kind of timeline are we looking at for implementation and getting up and running with the
Yeah,
PIM?
well, it depends. I mean, there's various solutions. Oftentimes operationally, and it's challenging. Governance around data is challenging. So it really is specific to the retailer. So it's hard for me to pinpoint a range, but it's in the months, sort of time frame if you're sort of a mid-market retailer.
And who would be the key executives who would be involved in the planning and implementation?
Well, traditionally it's been the e-commerce leaders, right? That e-business leader, since they're the ones that are running this channel. Now, they can't do it alone. They don't have the merchandise relationship, so they reach out to their merchandise partners, and it's really in concert with their merchandise partners to create that that selection and then the technology of onboarding it to the e-commerce system. Those are the main players, but now we're seeing the introduction of store operations and IT as it relates to enabling that content in the store, right? So if you envision these merchandise systems that may be specialized for store store inventory, they're only onboarding basic information. They don't have the capabilities, and there never was really a need to have robust product information. And so now when customers go into the store with their smartphones and they're comparing products on the shelves and on their mobile device, they need to have an apples-to-apples comparison. And the associate as well needs to understand those attributes from a store inventory perspective. And so we're seeing that be a new pain point in terms of how to enable the sales associate, how to sort of unite the entire organization from a product perspective to have robust product information that is then accessible both online and in stores.
So do you see it as an overarching culture change that needs to happen in retail organizations that may have been functioning, in silos, and this is probably transferable to not only this topic, but lots of other business challenges with retailers today?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's definitely a transformation occurring. I feel like it's 15 years ago all over again in terms of the dynamic nature of retail today. And I think there's additional complexity because these retail systems that are store-based are old, hardened systems, and they're entrenched, and you need a crowbar to rip them apart and to poke holes in them in order to supply new, rich information. And so there are a few barriers. Definitely the technology are barriers, but then the cultural piece as well. When a store merchant is onboarding products, it's not just okay to get the best price. They need to really think about the content that goes with that product and enable the entire organization to leverage that content. And so there's new thinking when it comes to how retailers are managing the supply of inventory and their approach to products.
Scary and exciting at the same time.
It's scary and exciting, yeah.
But retail is always like that, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's why we love it, because it's so dynamic, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Great. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks to all of our viewers for joining us on TouchPoints TV. Have a great day.